It's the Odd Drunk Podcast, a very strange podcast. The drunkest show in the world. It's Jackson and Colton talking out of their ass. We don't care as long as drinks are poured. Sometimes we have our friends here. We will talk about anything. We don't care as long as we have beer. And if you let that whiskey ring. The Odd Drunk Podcast.
I wonder if Sony will ever release The Morbius.
I really loved the scene in Prey when the Predator turned to the Comanche girl and says, "It's Predator in time." I really was grasping for straws there. On that one.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Odd Drunk Podcast with your friends Colton and Jackson.
Yeah, you'll have to guess which one is which.
Yeah, if this is your first episode, we're not going to tell you. And I'm not going to refer to my co-host with his name.
Yeah, you have to wait till
From now
next
on.
episode to find out. Or go watch an old one.
I mean, not that we usually have to say each other's names when in conversation. I'm pretty sure we know who we're speaking to. There's only a couple of us in here.
I have to just get your attention before I start talking.
Yeah.
Hey, you.
But anyways, we recently saw the new Predator prequel.
Yeah.
Prey.
And
we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about just the Predator movies in general. Maybe not like a definitive ranking or anything.
Yeah,
honestly, there's a couple we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be unfair to just rank them based on what we've heard about them rather than actually seeing them.
Yeah.
So, because, who knows? I might really love the Predator, even though I've heard it's really bad.
Yeah.
And it really breaks the lore in a way that I do not like.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that.
It makes some weird choices.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to have a fun time tonight. And what do you got to drink here?
Leftovers.
Same.
I'm drinking Skykraken Hazy Pale Ale from Fremont Brewing.
That was featured in the Sharks episode, I believe.
Yeah. And if that is finished, then I have a Pabst Blue Ribbon here.
He does.
If I am still thirsty. And I do have one thing we haven't had on the show before. I have the Chairlift Warmer Peppermint Schnapps from Telluride Distilling Company.
Nice.
I don't have very much left
Peppermint
of it.
schnapps.
It's been in my freezer for a while.
I can't really drink that straight.
I like it, actually. I'm weird.
I've never been a fan of schnapps by itself.
I only like peppermint schnapps.
Like the worst one, peach schnapps.
Yeah, other types of schnapps, no.
That's so
it's
bad.
only peppermint schnapps. I like peppermint a lot.
Peppermint's good. It's not quite peppermint, but you can always love peppermint.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, when you put it in the freezer, it's cold.
Yeah.
So this is...
Well, peppermint and mint, that's just the cold version of spicy food.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really
that's
is.
accurate.
I think it's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, I like that.
But I've got a fan favorite here, a Plantation Pineapple Rum, and I've got a shot ready to go. And I've also got Oktoberfest. I managed to grab some. There was only a couple left. Your work.
Oh yeah,
They were actually mixed in with the Pinstripe Ale.
yeah.
That's how few left.
Oh, when I went on Tuesday, we had a few cases left.
Yeah.
But they go fast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's a small batch and it only comes around this time of year.
Yeah.
And
Not in
there's
October.
Usually not enough, if any, in October.
Yeah, it's all gone.
You'll be real lucky if you find somebody. They'll usually re-release it again for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Actual Oktoberfest.
They'll do another batch. Sometimes, not always.
They typically, because they know
but there's other good October
And yeah, it's from Scott.
Oktoberfest beers.
Oh yeah, plenty.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's from Scott Brewing. If you do not know,
I actually like the Samuel Adams Oktoberfest beer.
honestly, you can't. Yeah, it's
actually
good.
pretty good. Yeah, I'm
People like to
not a
joke
big
about
fan
it.
I'm not a big fan of Samuel Adams beer, but like,
I saw. We may have talked about this. I don't know. I saw Bill Burr was on Saturday Night Live, which kind of seems weird in the first place that he
Yeah.
would be on it. But
he's been doing lots of weird stuff. That
yeah, it's
seem
like
very-
Netflix specials and
starring in Star
podcasts,
Wars,
starring in Star Wars.
like
Yeah, and just playing Bill Burr.
yeah,
basically.
he's one of the standout characters in the
Yeah.
whole season. Like
Yeah. But they did this sketch about Sam Adams like fall releases or whatever, and there was this like pumpkin one, and he was like, "Oh, this is terrible. This is so dumb," but he drank like the whole 6-pack because he was at like a beer tasting thing.
I've definitely done that.
Yeah,
I've definitely bought like a 6-pack of beer and like just been drinking and being like, this is not a good beer. This is weird tasting, and then like the whole 6-pack's gone.
but Oktoberfest is not a terrible beer. In fact, it's quite
No.
the opposite of that.
It's
I
actually
would
quite
say.
a good beer.
Yeah. And then I also got some leftover scraps, Voodoo Ranger, New Belgium Brewing.
Never go wrong with some Voodoo Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's there's a bar in town that has it on tap, and they don't have the best beer selection, but they have that, so I always order that there. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Well, I mean, they actually have some good beers, but they have some expensive beers, and that's not an expensive beer. It's like $5 a pint at this bar.
Oh, nice.
It's on 11th Street.
Okay.
They also
Ernie's?
Yeah, Ernie's. Yeah.
Oh, I love Ernie's.
They also have like, I mean, they have Pliny the Elder from Russian River Brewing on tap there, but it's like $12 for like a 10-ounce glass. So
Doing the math there. That's quite a lot.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
$5 for a pint
Nice.
of Voodoo Ranger.
Nice. Yeah, you can't go
So-
wrong with Voodoo Ranger. Yeah. Especially for $5.
Whew.
That's a deal nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Unless you get the $2 PBRs at your local.
It's only one bar in
Sports
town
bar.
that does that.
Yep.
The average price for PBR in
like
this town is $3.50.
$3.50. Yeah.
But good old Jabo's.
Yeah.
Just
Jabo's, a bar none of you probably know of. Yeah, none of you.
no,
What?
it's
yeah.
not a touristy bar.
No.
It's
That's yeah.
it's
Even
one of the local bars.
we won't say where we are. If you haven't figured that out by now, that's your fault.
Yeah, we drop hints all the
Yeah.
time.
And just straight up slip up.
Yeah,
But-
we've just said where we're from before.
But Durango, Mexico. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Durango, Spain.
Yeah. The only other Durango
The only other Durango.
that matters. But anyways, we're going to talk about Prey.
Yes.
And it's not the video game. And it's
No.
not the other movie
And it's
or
not-
any
and
of the
it's-
other movies.
And it's not the other video game that is not very similar to the other video
the
game.
Bethesda one?
There's like two
There's a-
different Prey video
yeah.
games, and they're technically the same franchise, but they are nothing alike.
No, yeah, right. But anyways, so before we discuss our opinions and so forth, so news just broke that Hulu, Prey, is the #1 premiere on Hulu today, including all film and TV series debuts.
Nice.
Which that's
That's-
pretty, because it obviously doesn't have box office numbers because it wasn't released in theaters for some reason. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure why.
Don't know why.
I know it was a more low budget film. And yeah, the last Predator movie did so bad, but
I'm glad they.
this would have
just put it
killed
out
it
on
in
streaming,
theaters, though.
Yeah.
It would have killed it.
Oh yeah, I think people were excited for this before it came out. Like,
In fact, let's see what its budget was. If they have that information open. Sometimes they don't on streaming stuff.
yeah,
Let's see. Not quite. Oh, $15 million budget.
oh, that's nothing.
I bet it could have easily like quadrupled that in theaters. Like, because
easy
word of mouth has gone around about this movie. And yeah, there's haters for really, I hate to say, just quite sexist reasons, I would say, to
Yeah.
be quite honest. I see a lot of butthurt, guys online. They're like, ugh, like, how could she fight the predator and all this stuff?
Yeah,
And the movie explains that.
yeah.
So, and it's not, no one ever beats the predator through brute force,
No, yeah.
to my recollection. I mean, they always have to outsmart it
Yeah.
or, figure it out, and stuff like that. So, get out here. But, yeah. So, when I heard about the premise, I was like, wow, that sounds like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And it sure was. It's set 300 years ago or so, like 1719, 18.
Yeah, 17, like 19, yeah.
And it's like in the northern Great Plains, and it follows a Comanche warrior in the Comanche tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Or, promising Comanche warrior, at least.
Yeah.
And as far as just the setting goes, really done well.
Yeah, well, I mean, setting it like that kind of helped because a lot of the Predator movies kind of veered into just like heavy action science fiction.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the first one is that
Yeah.
heavy action science fiction.
Well, the first one though, it still though has like it's set in a jungle. It's not set in a science fiction.
No,
like,
yeah, I know what you
setting.
mean.
It's
Yeah.
the only science fiction-y part of it is the Predator.
It's the Predator.
And that's the same with this movie. It puts you in a
Yeah.
situation where there's not like,
But
all this other extra crap.
And what I also enjoy about it is I know, like, most, if not all, the producers were part of the Comanche tribe.
Yeah.
And, they worked with the director and, the filmmakers to make it as accurate as possible.
And they did. They released. You can watch it on Hulu. A version that's dubbed in Comanche.
Yeah, I watched some of it. I plan on watching it in
Yeah.
the Comanche dub.
I didn't know
pretty
they had
cool.
done that until after I'd watched it, and
Yeah.
Tristan told me. But I remember while
It's a pretty
watching
good
it,
dub.
because while watching it,
What's
of
a
course,
dub?
like they have parts where they speak in Comanche anyway, but then
Yeah.
most of the time they speak in English for the viewers.
But
But
what's
I
interesting...
remember watching it and being like, this would be really immersive if it was in Comanche with subtitles.
Yeah, and they have that.
Yeah. And I was,
I mean, it's a dub, so, sometimes it'll be slightly off because they weren't going to just make the whole movie again.
yeah.
Uh,
The $15 million budget just.
but no, it's a good dub. I've seen some of it. I watched some scenes just to see what it was like. And what I thought was interesting is all from the perspective of the main character, Naru. And when you meet other characters that don't speak Comanche, they speak their native language.
Yeah.
And you don't understand them unless you speak their language
Yeah.
in real life.
The French
The
guys.
French fur trappers,
Yeah.
which are
I do want to talk
heavily
about
involved.
the French fur trappers real quick before we get into like the lore and stuff of it.
yeah.
One part, probably my favorite part in the movie. So the main character comes across this field of bison that have been skinned and left.
Yeah, and that's something they
it's-
would do all the time.
Yeah, and it's like probably the most horrifying scene in the movie.
Honestly, yeah, just the devastation.
And I love the twist that the most horrifying thing that happens in the movie was not due to the predator. It
No,
was
it
the
was-
French.
Yeah. Yeah, the French.
It was
Or just
those-
white people
It
in
was
general,
those
but the
damn
French.
colonizers. It was
Yeah, fur
Um,
traders. And they show that scene where she comes across a field of just a bunch of skinned dead bison corpses.
yeah.
And that's something they would actually do
Mm-hmm.
to basically hurt the tribes.
Yeah, it was a combination of like you have fur trappers out there. They're out there to make money.
They're out there to make money,
So
so they don't care. And
They're not using the land and using the animals.
Yeah.
They're just getting the furs to
getting the fur,
take back and
and
sell.
that takes away their food supply, and it's also just an insult. It's
Yeah.
very disrespectful.
But once kind of white settlers, colonizers figured out that native tribes were relied so much on buffalo, we
really
we
exploit
did
it.
start
It's
just
really bad.
killing them.
Oh, not even skinning them sometimes, just straight up, just killing
Oh
them.
yeah, they would on railroad when the railroad tracks were built. They would
Yeah.
that you could shoot at buffalo
Yeah.
from the train.
Yeah, it's
It was
really
like a
fucked up.
game to people.
I really like that the movie shows that, and it
Mm-hmm.
shows that, I don't know, it just feels like a real what I really appreciate it. Yeah, ultimately it's a really badass Predator movie. And we'll
Yeah.
get to that. But it does the source material, the historical setting quite right, in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah.
It feels very authentic. It feels like a real world,
Yeah.
not just a setting for a movie.
Yeah. No, that's,
You know what I mean?
you're right. Yeah. No,
Like
and-
these characters, the Comanche tribe is existing as it would have existed.
Mhm.
The fur trappers are doing their shitty things and existing and just doing their thing. And then Predator,
Yep.
he's in there. He's in the mix.
Predator. Yep. That's,
And that's what I really,
I
I
want-
really appreciate.
I
And
want more Predator movies like that.
and historical
Just
settings.
historical settings where it's a normal
You know what?
historical setting and then Predator.
This kind of connects to a plot point in the movie.
I want to set it. I want an ancient Rome
Ooh.
where it's just
Predator in a Coliseum.
ancient Rome, just people going about their normal Roman business, and then Predator.
Yeah. I want a Predator versus Pirates movie.
That would be cool. Does the Predator have a
All-
boat?
on open ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
he has his Predator boat.
Yeah.
And instead of cannons, it has those 3 little laser dots.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it's equivalent of a cannon,
Which
is
would
quite
probably obliterate a pirate ship
in
in one shot.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, and the cinematography is amazing. There's really good
yeah.
aerial shots and just of the open country,
beautiful shots.
top down,
Yeah.
drone or I'm sure it's drone.
Made me want to play Red Dead Redemption too.
Yeah, honestly. And yeah, it's just a lived-in world, and I really appreciate that. But what I also appreciate, like most Predator movies, honestly, it gets straight into Predator stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
within the first 5 minutes of the movie, you see the ship coming in, and yeah, this is gonna be maybe not super spoiler. It's gonna be spoilers.
It's gonna. Yeah.
It's gonna.
If you haven't watched it,
ultimately.
go watch it.
It's
come
on
back.
Hulu. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
And Disney Plus in the UK actually, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because Disney does own Hulu, but they, at least in America, they usually put their more adult stuff on Hulu,
Yeah. Yeah.
which seems to be changing now.
I did
'cause
notice
some of the Marvel news.
I did notice something at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
So Disney owns 20th Century Fox.
yeah. Now it's 20th Century Studios.
I noticed
because
that
they want to
at the-
disassociate from the
it's
Fox
not 20th
News
Century
Network.
Fox Studio. It's just 20th Century Studio.
Yeah, they.
I
don't-
noticed that at the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones that have that now, but yeah, that's gonna be the thing now. 20. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If it bothers you, you're bothered about the wrong thing, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I really adored this movie. Other than the Predator, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Predator was just, the cherry on top. In my opinion.
I am far
I
from.
mean, yeah, the Predator was the main emphasis of this movie, but
Yeah.
it just felt so.
Another thing that is
It
cool
had so
about
much
it is-
care.
so I am far from an expert on Native American, especially Comanche culture.
No,
obviously.
Sam, I'm not going to
But
sit here and say,
I have,
that's
I
perfect.
have some Native friends, and I've talked to them after watching this
Same.
movie, and they've said Tristan said, "I feel represented."
Yeah,
Like,
because it's
people
not
are really liking
it's
it
not
for
a
that.
stereotype, and it's just done with
It portrays Native culture in a positive light.
in a positive light, and it's just
Yeah.
done with respect, and it's just a really cool idea. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
to begin with.
It's great.
I think there was a Predator
I do
comic.
want to say real quick a little side note here. We're saying Native and Native American. We are aware that some Native Americans don't like being called Native American.
Yeah,
It's
Indigenous
It's
people,
contentious
uh,
on what
still better to
what
say
is the proper
Indian.
term. Yeah, it's,
even though I know some that don't care about being called Indian, but I don't prefer
well,
that.
I say it's
'cause they're not
contentious
Indians.
is from what I understand. Some people prefer Native Americans. Some people
Yeah.
prefer Indigenous. Most people, I think, prefer their actual tribe.
Their tribe. But yeah,
so this would be
we're the
Comanche.
Comanche tribe.
Yeah,
And the actress,
I don't.
Amber-
I don't personally know anyone from the Comanche tribe.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But the actress Amber Midthunder and all the other actors are all native. They're not all Comanche, but Amber Midthunder, she was actually born in Shiprock. I just found out.
Oh.
She's part of the Sioux tribe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, everyone in this movie, aside from the Frenchman and the Predator, are native.
Yeah. It'd be weird if the Frenchmen were also played by native actors.
Are also played by predators.
We should have a movie
French
that takes.
French predator.
Let's have a movie where it takes place on the Predator
Predator.
home world, and
they're
Frenchman
French?
showed up.
And they just get slaughtered.
Yeah, just a Frenchman.
That implies they have space age technology. Or no, they just
No,
they're
no,
there.
he's not there on purpose.
Okay, some shenanigans.
Some wormhole shenanigans,
Or
ensue.
maybe a predator.
And
One accidentally got on a ship or something, and he went
Yeah.
back.
and then plot twist. It's not a horror movie. It's a cooking movie, a la Ratatouille.
Oh, and I just want
and he
to.
teaches them to cook with proper French cuisine.
So Ratatouille with Predator.
Yes,
That's
where the
that's the crossover
where
I want
the
to
rat where the rat in Ratatouille is the Frenchman, and all the cooks, the humans in Ratatouille.
Oh, and he's on the Yachtja's head.
Yeah, with pulling the dreadlocks.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
The dreadlocks. And I heard somewhere in the lore that that's actually like a sensory organ, maybe.
Ah,
or
well, that
something.
would make sense.
And
Why
then
he'd be
that's
able
why
to-
it would work.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
makes more sense than Ratatouille.
It makes a lot more sense.
So
We've made a more realistic movie than Ratatouille.
I would pay big money to see that movie. And the Predator doesn't kill anybody.
No, it's not a horror movie. It's not an
Maybe he
action
actually
movie.
cuts himself, and you see the green blood because you always got to see the neon green blood.
Yeah, of course.
you know,
Yeah,
so.
you'd have all those tropes in there.
The tropes.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
He pulls the spine out of a chicken, but to cook it.
But to cook it,
To
maybe he gets called an ugly motherfucker, but it's by an upset customer.
Yeah, which is also another Yachtja.
Yeah,
Or is it Yachtja?
I don't know.
That's the predator race. But yeah, getting to the actual Predator, I thought it was a really cool version, a really cool take. It was and we'll get into what I think it might be. People are speculating. I don't think the director really intended it to be like one that we recognize, but it really does look like a particular kind.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like the original.
No.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's got traces of that, but it's a different like subspecies or something
Yeah.
going on.
Same species, different like
or
clan
or maybe
tribe
yeah,
or
they just look
subspecies or
different. You know what I
something.
mean? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a different clan, and we'll get into that. But I thought it was great, and I love the bone helmet.
Oh, that thing's cool.
I thought that was a cool addition, and I loved how it was more stripped down.
yeah.
Like right here, I forgot to mention it. I've got the NECA Predator City Hunter from Predator 2.
yeah.
It's awesome. We'll post a picture of that. I love that figure. I love any of NECA's stuff, to be quite honest. And they just announced they're actually releasing the Feral Predator.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It'll probably come out like next year.
Yeah.
But you know, they put a lot of time into their paint and sculpts, so I can't complain
Yeah.
too much. But I really love the kills, and I really love how it sticks to the whole Predator mantra of like using the equivalent weapon that you have.
Yeah.
And this does seem not necessarily primitive. It still has high technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume it has access to the same. If they have faster and like travel and spaceships, I'm sure the technology they have 300 years ago is pretty close to what they have now.
Yeah. Probably.
And it does show some of that. Like,
One thing I liked is, so we talked about the Predator, like, goes after Alpha.
oh, and this is a big one too.
Yeah,
the
he-
tall one.
He goes after, well, the Predators go after, like, Alpha hunters and stuff like that as their prey.
Yeah.
I like that this movie shows the Predator going after, like, a wolf
Yeah,
and a bear.
it's going after
You know?
the other predators
Yeah.
in the area. You know, in the
it's
wild.
Not just targeting humans. It's cool.
Yeah, and I like that. Well, part of me was like, "Oh man," but I do appreciate that it never has a pulse cannon or uses it or anything.
Yeah.
It just uses its like wrist darts or whatever, its spear, which is pretty awesome. And it does have. There is some callbacks to some of the weapons it uses, though.
Oh, yeah, there's the net thing.
Yeah, the net, but
Yeah.
it's like slightly different this time.
Yeah.
But
There's some cool callbacks in this. There is the famous line.
if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one, the meme of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV. That was,
That was me.
yeah. It's like how you said it.
And Yeah, and this Predator, he was a lot more confrontational, a lot more head-on. Not, I mean, still really stealthy, but it would come out and just straight up fight a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, staying up in the trees and just taking people out.
Yeah, no,
It would
I thought
come
it was
down
cool.
and brawl.
Has that cool shield
And
thing,
yeah, the shield, which was pretty sick.
which can also chop people's heads off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll talk about something to do with that. It was awesome. And oh yeah, the kills in this are crazy.
Oh
Like,
no, this is one.
they
of
don't
the,
hold back on the kills.
This is one of the Predator movies with the most number of times where like a cool action thing happens, cool
Yeah.
kill happens, where I go, oh shit, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like when the Predator throws the bear trap at the guy's head.
Oh, that was sick. And just because, you know, it's it's 1700s, there's not machine guns and whatever. It's still got great action. And
Yeah.
it's really creative with like the melee combat and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's some really cool moments with that.
And there's this moment with the fur trappers, the Frenchmen, where they don't know what the Predator is yet, but they hear from Naru about it after they capture her. Because the translator talks to her, and he's actually the one that gives her the pistol.
Yeah.
And this is the same exact pistol that's seen in Predator 2 that one of the Predators hands to Danny Glover.
Right.
And which I wonder if they're going to go with a straight up sequel to this one, because they never done that with a Predator movie.
Yeah. No.
The sequels are always in a different area, a different place, different characters, different situation.
Yeah.
Because like Predator 1 was in the jungle of Arnie and a bunch of, you know, army grunts, you know, special force guys, Jesse Ventura,
Just
Billy
a
Dukes,
lot of just
Carl Weathers,
testosterone.
just a lot of a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah,
in the
I
movie.
watched that movie yesterday,
Yeah.
the first one, and it's a great movie. It's probably still my favorite in the series.
That's why it's so
But-
good, because you see these really buff macho special forces guys just get wrecked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's what I really like about the first Predator movie, like, and we'll get into that, but
and Arnie barely survives.
yeah, Arnie barely
Yeah, yeah.
survives, and the Predator in that one is a little more of a just a
He's a dick.
dick. Yeah, straight
well,
up.
the ending where
Because he does the
he blows himself
suicide
up,
bomb.
and then he's laughing, and it has the
Yeah.
like that type of laugh.
And that creeped me out when I was a kid, because I was like, you wouldn't expect them to have like a human laugh. But apparently
Yeah.
that's because they can replicate voices and stuff.
Yeah, because what movie is it where the Predator says,
Predator 2.
says ugly motherfucker?
Yeah, Predator 2.
Yeah.
Which I just watched that one, and it's better than I remembered. And we'll get into that.
I'll have to watch it again soon.
It's fun, and it's got good kills and everything, and that's pretty much what I want. But yeah, this Predator, what I love about it, it's stripped down. It uses a lot of more melee, more manual weapons, kind of, you know. Doesn't have the plasma caster, which did upset me a little bit.
Yeah, but
It makes it more fair. I mean,
Makes it more fair.
balanced.
it's not the
And
same
also-
type of Predator exactly, maybe.
Well, also,
so that-
like in Predator
fine.
lore, I don't know if this still holds true in the movies or anything, but in Predator lore, they actually have to, and this is told in Alien vs. Predator, they go on a xenomorph hunt, the unblooded, and you have to kill a xenomorph and then put the rune in your helmet with their acid to prove that you killed one, and then you get a plasma caster.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe
Or something like
so
that.
maybe this is not
This one
one who has
hasn't
done
killed
that
a xenomorph yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that still holds true in lore. I don't know where Alien vs. Predator sits within lore, because
It's a really weird.
apparently
movie for
in
that,
The
yeah.
Predator, which I haven't seen, but I've seen some clips, and they show the spear that the
Yeah.
elder Yautja gives to the lady that helps kill the alien queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I guess they're connect. I don't know.
It's this weird
but
thing
it's the
where
Predator canon anymore.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
So
I
the
hope it's not.
Predator and Alien. It's this weird shared universe where there's Predator and Alien
But like James Cameron won't. Well, no,
Which-
he acknowledged it.
is also so this universe.
It's Ridley Scott that won't acknowledge it.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because it's not canon in the Alien universe anymore.
But it's still canon
But
in
it's
Predator
maybe
universe now.
yeah, maybe still canon Predator. Here's a fun fact for you. There's 2 other film franchises, or one of them's actually a TV show, not a film, that are also in the Alien Predator
I know
universe.
Soldier is with Kurt Russell.
3 then.
And then Blade Runner.
Blade Runner is 1, yes.
And then which one are you counting?
Firefly
Firefly?
by Joss Whedon, the TV show.
That
Is in the Alien universe.
Oh wow.
Or it's not confirmed. There are hints at it, and that's a fan theory that it's
Wow.
it's in that universe. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, yeah, and I like the idea with Blade Runner because, like, that's the planet they would go back to. You know, that's their
Yeah.
home they would go back to after their job and other
Yeah,
space.
yeah, no, it's the Blade Runner is the only like really strong
And with the
connection.
replicants and stuff, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah.
Because there's replicants in Alien,
Yeah,
or I forget exactly what they call
they're
them.
like androids or something.
I think they're like lower, tech versions or whatever, or
Well, it said
more
that
workforce
in the Blade Runner universe, what happened with the replicants is they were made, but they were made illegal on Earth.
Oh.
At least on Earth, they were made illegal.
So maybe the loopholes in space they can use them.
Yeah, you can use them in space. Well, they were used. That's the whole plot of the first Blade Runner movie. So the
Yeah.
replicants are made because of like problems that arise from having these replicants around. They're made illegal on Earth. So when they're still produced, they're sent off to space colonies to be used as slaves,
Yeah, basically.
and they're given a 10-year lifespan.
Well, because they can work the ship while everyone else is in hypersleep.
Yeah,
and everything.
exactly. Yeah. But they're
So-
given a 10-year lifespan.
Oh,
So they die
okay.
after 10 years. And that's the whole plot of the
And
first
then you
Blade
have
Runner
like
is
Prometheus.
yeah, but that's the whole plot of the first Blade Runner is a group of replicants from one of these colonies out there comes back to Earth, and they want to live longer.
Yeah,
That's the entire
Yeah.
plot.
I've seen so many versions of that movie. I need to see it again though.
Yeah,
I don't know which version is the right version.
I'm a big Blade Runner fan, but I am also confused on which version is the proper version because there's like 5 versions of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're all good.
There's the final cut. There's the director's cut.
I think the final
theatrical.
I think the final cut is the one,
that's like the canon
the
one or
canon.
whatever.
I think I'm not totally sure.
Mm. That's one they have on Netflix.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and going back to this Predator, I love the kills, and I love the scene where it wrestles with the bear.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
And what's kind of crazy is that one moment you're like, oh, the bear's gotten the best of the Predator, right?
yeah.
But then the Predator just gets up and just knocks the shit out of the bear.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just knocks it the fuck out. Maybe the Predator was just kind of testing it out, like the bear. Because
The Predator gets a little beat up.
he does get...
Throughout the movie,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, more than maybe any of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, not quite,
But he shrugs
think
most of it off.
this Predator, is not as cheap. Still cheap with his technology,
yeah.
but not as cheap. Like,
He's like,
he doesn't
you
have
You have a bow and arrow? Fine. I will use
my equivalent.
something that fires a bolt. It just has laser guidance.
Yeah,
But
it
it
comes
still-
back to bite it in the ass.
Yeah. But
Actually.
it still counts though.
But no, the Predator. There's some good fights. Like her brother.
Oh
the
yeah.
fight he has with the Predator. Like
I
comes in
love
on the horse, knocks his mask off.
He like
and
leaps off the horse and like
gets some
spears it.
Gets some stabs in.
that
But
was so
yeah,
cool.
obviously the Predator ultimately bests him and cheats a little bit with invisibility.
Yeah.
But and no, this movie really, and some people complain about this, and I can see this a little bit. It made the Predator seem a little bit more grounded, because not
Yeah.
only if it bleeds we can kill it. Oh, we can actually like contend with this to a degree.
To a degree.
And you have to be a highly skilled warrior.
Yeah,
and that's
the
what I
thing is-
like about, like, it shows the Comanche warriors as really brutal.
Well,
and
I think
skilled.
it shows it's like the point is that when the Predator
And also the Predator, at least this one, maybe more than any of the other ones, really plays by the whole rule of like, oh, if it's not a worthy target, I'm not even going to go for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the same kind of weapon, yada, yada, yada.
I think it shows
you
that
know-
when the Predator does that, it's like you can contend with it. At the same time, like the brother, you can say contended with it. I wouldn't say he contended with it. I think he put up a good fight.
He put up a good,
but ultimately he would not have won that fight.
no, and he didn't.
Yeah, and he didn't. But I don't think there's any way he would have won.
No,
He just put up the best fight other than the main character.
yeah,
And she didn't really fight it head on.
No, not really. It was more of a traps and stuff like that.
Well,
And
I do want to say one thing I liked about this. So it kind of follows a similar formula as the first Predator movie, right?
yeah,
But what the first Predator movie does, where it's basically you have Arnold Schwarzenegger and he's in the jungle and he's basically just surviving. He kills the Predator because he has to.
yeah,
She turns this into a hunt.
yeah,
She turns the tides on it
Yeah.
and goes, I'm not just going to survive. I'm going to hunt you.
yeah.
You're the prey now.
Well, and there's a lot of important motivation because she's got to protect her tribe.
Yeah.
and
But I like that. I like that it's a slight twist on the formula. Not so much that it changes.
it's survival
the
for
formula.
a while, but then the last act,
Yeah, it's
the tides turn, and yeah, the scene with the bear when he knocks it out and he lifts it up and lets the blood get that's crazy. That was so good.
Yeah.
and
I like you see it when he faces the wolf, and I like that when he faces the wolf, he like squares off with it.
and he's like squats down, gets on its level.
But then the wolf charges him and he slices it, and then you see the guts fall out of the wolf.
yeah,
Like that,
and
was,
it's like delayed too.
yeah, that was a cool scene.
And the wolf does get a bite on him because he's just in stealth mode, surveying the area, and the wolf like runs into him when it's chasing the rabbit or something like that.
he is
Or
he
I
was
forget what happens.
he was looking at the rabbit and the wolf. And
Yeah.
he targeted the wolf as a predator,
Mm-hmm.
but then the wolf still got a bite in him.
Yeah, you
Um,
see the glowing blood on Steve.
I feel like
And-
so I said that this predator takes a beating, but I feel like this predator shows like his style of fighting is like he can take a hit.
He's more willing to take a beating.
Yeah, he's willing to take
He's
a
got
hit.
stripped down, barely any armor. I mean, he get the shield out, but he's a stripped down predator.
Yeah.
And my main complaint, the design, I think is actually cool. I'm fine with it being different, but it does look like the Yatja and the Predators movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're like berserker predators. They're a little taller,
yeah.
and they have like bigger mandibles and whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of looked like one of those a little bit.
It might have been, yeah.
Who really know? But who knows how many like clans and subtypes there could be, and they could really. I do kind of. Part of me was like, man, I do wish it was the old design. That would connect even more for me. But
It would have been cool.
it was
but
still
I,
good.
I do like this design though.
But my main problem with it. See what this predator has. What's something this predator has that the other one doesn't
His
have?
dreadlocks.
Well, the other one had dreadlocks.
It didn't really
This
have
one
like,
just has
dreadlocks.
He has like adornments on it. But no, the fishnet.
Oh yeah.
That's I was like, oh man.
no. This
No
this
fishnet.
predator is just like in a loincloth.
Yeah, practically. And he has a shield and like he has like some
He has
shoulder
gauntlets and
armor and
shit,
whatever.
but-
Well, yeah, they always have their gauntlets.
Yeah, but he's pretty much just in like a loincloth.
And I
shit.
love the scene where he fights all the fur trappers.
Oh,
And there's
yeah.
this moment where like he blocks all their rounds with a shield.
and then they
And
stop
then they
to
all
reload.
and it's muskets.
Yeah.
So they're like frantically
that was
pouring
good.
the powder in and everything. And they just get slaughtered.
Yeah.
And there's the part, the bit with the shield where he cuts the guy's head off through the tree.
Oh yeah.
And it's
That
great
whole
to
scene
see
was
him
like-
mess these fur
Because
trappers
you had
up.
seen the fur trappers had they had fucked up they had killed all the buffalo.
Yeah.
So I was like rooting for the predator in that scene.
Oh, me too.
I was like, yeah, kill them.
And also, like the muskets, they hardly even when they hit him, they hardly hurt the predator.
Oh yeah.
Because even in the other movies, he gets hit with like shit like 50 caliber rounds and he survives.
Yeah.
So a musket, okay. And he's got the shield, but and yeah, the bit with the net that was sick.
Oh yeah.
And that was a good callback to. It still had some of the famous predator weapons. It had like the wrist blades, the net,
Mhm.
and And I love what it did with its gauntlet, because it did the whole detonator on its gauntlet.
Yeah.
And obviously, no one's ever seen any kind of electronics ever yet.
Yeah.
And they're all looking at it as it's going off. It's beeping.
One of
And
them
then
does
one of
start
them-
backing up.
One
yeah.
of them knows, okay, that must be a bad thing.
Yeah.
He runs off before the other ones. But then I can't quite tell. I think I watched that scene again just because it was so cool. And it looked like it spread out into like a laser disc or something like that.
Something like that.
And because one of them's missing a foot later on.
yeah.
And but anyways, like all these like little frisbees, like saucers come out, and then they just like,
Yeah.
which was crazy. But yeah, it was really good. I love all that stuff. And
I also liked after that scene when she goes back to the camp to save her dog.
oh, her dog. Let's talk about the dog.
The
What
dog
a great
is
dog actor.
it's the goodest boy
It is the
of
goodest
2022.
boy.
Yeah.
He well, he first, even before the predator shows up, he helps out like distract the bear and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he actually helps her defeat the predator,
Yeah. Such a good boy.
which I'm so glad. A part of me is like, okay, why didn't the predator, just kill it? But I'm so glad he didn't kill it.
Yeah, I was worried
Because
that
me
the
and
dog was gonna
my
die.
girlfriend were like, oh shit, is he gonna pull the spine out of the dog? Like, I do
Yeah.
not want to see that. Because he already did it to the wolf, and then he made the trophy
Yeah.
in his little camp or in his cave. He like burned the flesh off and put the skull
Yeah.
on his belt, which is really cool because that's something they do. And
yeah, it was cool seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we never actually see them do that. I don't think
No, I don't think so.
we see them tear it out, but like actually,
Yeah.
make a trophy out of it. And yeah, that's what the wolf and but yeah, the dog is a good boy.
Very good boy.
And what
But I did want to say, I loved, so after the French guys get massacred, she goes back to the French camp, and then she massacres some more French people,
yeah,
and that was cool too.
there's a really cool scene where she just kills a bunch of Frenchmen, and with her tomahawk, and she ties a rope to her tomahawk. And there's a scene where one of the other guys is like, "Oh, your weapon needs a leash and everything," and I'm like, "Actually, it's a really good idea. You'd have to be really skilled
Yeah.
to use it that way, but it
I
works."
think Cody, our friend Cody, he sent me a photo. No, this wasn't Cody. This was either Cody or Tristan. I don't remember. It was
Okay.
a photo as after I've seen Prey, and it was a butter knife with a rope attached to
Oh yeah.
it.
Cody shared a meme where it's like after Prey, like, and it was like at a powwow, Comanche powwow, predator meat with fry bread.
Oh yeah.
And spoiler alert. And this is something that I want them to change in one of the movies. The predator always dies at the end.
Yeah.
I want one where the predator wins.
Yeah.
Because
that would be
they're
cool.
supposed to be, like the ultimate hunter and everything. And not saying that I wasn't rooting for Narun. She was awesome. The actress did a great job. But, I think that would switch it up to have a dark ending for one of them.
Yeah.
And maybe have some humans come for revenge after the predator, And also, and yeah, so let's talk about the ending, how she takes down.
And that's where we can have the Frenchman movie.
Yeah.
The predator wins.
And then they become mates.
And then he goes back to his home planet, and a French guy is stored away.
And then
was a stowaway on the
Predatui.
ship. Yeah, Predatui.
That would be the
Yeah.
title. They become mates. But
See, I'm imagining it in my mind where it's just in a regular ass like the kitchen in Ratatouille. Like
yeah.
a regular ass restaurant. It doesn't look like
no,
an
on the
alien.
Yacha Prime or wherever.
Yeah,
the
it doesn't look
home-
like an alien building or
No,
thing.
it's just
a regular ass
yeah.
5-star.
But the rest of the
restaurant.
city is
Yeah,
alien tech.
of course,
but then-
yeah. This restaurant, this kitchen is just a
Well, 'cause,
regular
they
human kitchen.
study. Maybe there's not just predator Yacha. Maybe there's some that study chefs.
Yeah,
We got a good movie.
There's no way that they could survive as a society if all of them just did the hunting thing.
No,
There's got to be ones that do other shit.
stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
Retail workers.
You've got to have other jobs that they do.
bars.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have some bars. xenomorph brew.
Like,
you know?
yeah, maybe a lot of them do the hunting thing, but they can't all do it.
No.
Their society would fall apart. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, getting into the inner workings of their society.
yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the and this was actually adapted from a comic, I believe.
Huh.
But I think it was telling the story of Billy's ancestors
Oh.
from the first Predator.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah, yeah.
He was.
He's
I
the
can't-
guy-
forgot
he's
what
the-
tribe he was.
He's the guy that goes on the bridge and like runs the knife across his chest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the one that says like, "Oh, we're all dead already," and everything, because like he says his people has encountered this before.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder if they're gonna make it where he's Comanche and he's related to Naru like some way,
Yeah.
which would be cool. But I don't think they have to do that. It's
Yeah.
just a cool callback. And okay, let's talk about the ending though.
Yeah.
Final battle. What do you think?
I thought it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. There was a couple things I was like, really? Are you serious? Like,
so it does this Predator, while it's seems like it's less of an
It's not
asshole,
is smart.
but yeah, it's not as smart. So
Not as
she
smart.
puts the spikes on the trees and it just runs right into them.
Yeah,
The Predator in the original movie, Arnie puts up spikes, but the Predator fucking sees them.
but I guess they've learned from that by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I my kind of headcanon is that this is like a young blood or unblooded Predator,
Yeah.
if anything.
He's not the most experienced one.
Yeah, and I was reading about the lore, and apparently, like the ancient, like elder predators, like the head of their clan,
Mhm.
to get that status, they have to kill 3 xenomorph queens by themselves.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so they're
Wow.
really badass.
Yeah, imagine if one of those came to Earth and fought the Comanche tribe.
Oh God, that wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be fair. But
They wouldn't do that though. They would.
no, I really like the
They
decision.
probably the head predators
to-
have a lot of bureaucracy
to give us
take care
a
of it. They
different-
don't have time to hunt anymore.
Right, to give us a younger predator, give us a stripped down predator that was more, they call it the feral predator, and I think that's quite fitting.
Yeah.
It's brutal, it's confrontational, and I really like
Well,
that.
what I like about it is it allowed them to just strip away. They strip away the predator to be like the feral predator, and he's
Yeah,
maybe he seems less experienced, but it allowed them to strip away the bullshit from that some of the rest of the series.
yeah.
does.
Like, well, part of me was like, oh, is he gonna just do a suicide bomb like at the end?
Yeah.
Like, be really petty.
Yeah,
But he already wasted that on the Frenchman.
he did. Yeah, he dropped
So
his
he couldn't-
gauntlet and everything.
Yeah,
and did that.
So
yeah.
you couldn't do that anyways.
No, I
'Cause I'm sure
I
he
do
would've.
like the mud pit thing.
Oh yeah, because that's earlier in the. Oh, and that's a cool callback because she.
Yeah.
And this is just while she's going out hunting. It has nothing to do with Predator actually. But when she's going out hunting, she gets stuck in this mud pit, has to get out.
Yeah.
She gets covered in mud, and I'm like, oh, that's just like Arnie.
I was thinking
And
that too.
maybe that's gonna save her because
She did do a
but then
similar thing.
She washes off the mud, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she did a
But
similar
then she
thing.
uses
She did
the herb, the flower,
yeah, I don't know what flower
to
that was.
slow down their not their heartbeat, but like cool down their blood temperature or something like that.
I
Cool down their body temperature.
I don't remember what it does. I think she says it helps with like blood clotting and stuff. or
Yeah,
something.
so
But she realizes that it does cool down the body temperature, so their heat vision doesn't.
yeah,
they can't
and
see
you got to
that.
suspend your belief a little bit.
Yeah,
But also in the final battle, it is snowing,
that is true. Yeah.
so that even helps.
but I
more.
like so they do the mud pit, but then at the end of the movie, she comes back to the mud pit.
Yeah, and she uses that.
And I didn't
to
realize
help
that she was
trap
at
him.
the mud pit until like that scene.
Yeah, and yeah, she lures the predator in with a Frenchman.
Yeah.
And he has his rifle and he's all pissed off and everything.
Oh, when the-
cursing
when-
in French.
When the friend, I love that she chopped off that guy's leg.
Oh, and also
She
we
just
yeah, she did, and we briefly mentioned. Oh, I thought his leg got cut off from the predator.
no,
she
he
chopped
had,
it off.
He had it when
He
she
had
captured
it?
her. Captured
Damn,
him.
yeah.
No,
she's brutal.
it was the other Frenchman, the translator, that got his leg
he
chopped off by
from
the
the
predator.
laser thing.
And
yeah.
I also want to say when he crawls up in the camp, it was like,
well, let's talk about this guy.
He's like, save me. And then I saw his leg was gone. I'm like, oh, buddy, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're not going to survive
Yeah,
that
let's
out
talk
there
about
on the
this guy.
frontier.
He's like one of the only like nicer ones. Of course, the translator would have to be because they have
I don't think he was actually that nice.
he
I
wasn't
think
that.
was-
He was.
I think he's just a little bit more civil.
a little more civil. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he ends up helping a little bit because he gives her pistol, she helps him in his wound, but then the Predator comes back, but she gives him the flower, and that slows down his heart rate or whatever.
That's when she
And then-
realizes that it can't
So the
see.
Predator doesn't notice him at first with his thermal vision,
but
but then he just steps on him
steps on his like
because he
leg and-
thinks he's dead and he doesn't give a shit. So he steps on him and he screams, and then he fucking gets killed.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
unlucky.
But the scene where she has the captured French guy
Yeah.
and she eats the herb and then the Predator comes out of the woods and she just like steps out of the way
Yeah.
while he comes up and kills the French guy. That was so cool.
And there is a moment where she gets caught in like a bear trap or whatever.
oh
And,
yeah.
the Predator like walks up to, because the Predator kills like a bunch of the warriors.
Yeah, this is before she encountered the
Yeah,
or right
and
when she was encountering
This
the
is
French guys.
actually one of my favorite fight scenes. He kills a bunch of the warriors, and then she gets with the guy with the bow and arrow. You see the red
Mhm.
dots. Barely skates that, but then when it shows them running, the aerial shot of them running in the grass,
Yeah.
you see just how much faster the Predator is.
Oh yeah.
He catches up to him like just like really quick,
Yeah.
and then just slaughters that. And I love the visuals, and yeah, it's gory and everything, but I love the visuals where he's invisible and killing something.
Oh yeah.
So you just see like blood splatters on
yeah.
him.
But then she gets out of the field and she steps on a bear trap.
And then it walks like right up to her, doesn't kill her because it, in its mind, oh, something else got her.
Yeah.
And then it sees Frenchmen and everything.
And it does let the Frenchman that doesn't kill the Frenchman
No,
right
it doesn't
away.
then. No.
It buys it's a little bit patient there.
Yeah.
What I like is so there's a scene earlier in the movie where where the mother is like, "Why do you want to hunt?" And she's like, "Because you all think I can't."
Yeah.
Even the Predator thought she can't.
Right. Exactly. And she used
Yeah,
that and everything.
yeah.
And
But it turns out she
but yeah, this
can.
Predator seemed like a little bit, yeah, like you said, patient in some ways, and also he liked to fight on equal ground
Yeah, he's
more often.
He's not like totally stupid,
Yeah.
but he doesn't seem quite as smart as some.
He
of the other
likes a good
Predators.
fight.
Yeah, he loves a good fight, and
But-
yeah, I don't think this
But
is a
the
Predator
final
that
scene,
thinks ahead.
this is
too
what
much.
shows me he's totally stupid, because earlier when he fights the warriors, when her brother knocks his helmet off, he tries to fire his wrist darts or whatever.
He doesn't realize
that redirects
Yeah,
the project, and I didn't know that was a thing. I thought they was just laser sights, but I guess they never. Maybe that happened in Predator 2. But either way, like where the laser's pointing, that's where the projectile goes.
yeah.
It just like
I don't
homes
think
in
we've
on
ever
that
seen like a thing where
I don't think we've seen that.
the helmet gets knocked off and the laser thing is still working.
Yeah, and maybe he just forgot to. I don't know. Maybe he
Yeah.
could have turned it off real quick.
Like
I don't know.
We've seen them use it without the helmet on,
Yeah.
but that's their plasma cannon thing.
Well, yeah. Sometimes they have like a side piece or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the projectiles go where the lasers are pointing. Well, she sets up the helmet,
Mm-hmm.
and then she gets him trapped in the mud. And there's a moment where he almost gets her with his shield.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
it's going through like the rock.
and I'm like, come on, I think it would have got her.
Yeah,
Like you have to suspend your belief a little bit, because I mean it went straight through the tree into the guy. But
well, it's she
but
like
it is going through
she
like
pushes
rock.
herself into the gap in the rocks. Which is
Yeah,
smart.
so that does
and,
help.
and it does start to go through the rock. And
Yeah,
it's
and it
like
almost-
it's pushing through.
And then her doggo comes in with the tomahawk.
Oh
helps
yeah,
out.
such a good.
And thank
goodest
God
boy
the
of
predator doesn't
2022.
kill him or even really notices him. And
He has more important things to worry
yeah,
about. Yeah.
But then she tells him to do it, the shooter. She's like up against the tree, and she says,
Which
"This is
is-
where you stop. You do not go past."
Which
here,"
is
and
like
everything.
Arnie
yeah, it's
in
just like
Predator 1 going, "Do it,
do it, yeah,
do it."
yeah.
Yellow.
Oh.
I love
But,
Arnie.
yeah, I love him. But
Governor of California.
But anyways, this predator is so dumb to not know how his weapons work, does not recognize that his helmet's right there, and literally he fires at her, just shoots himself in the head.
yeah,
And that's where I was like, okay,
he's not.
this
the,
is obviously an experienced predator
He's not the
that
smartest
doesn't know his
predator,
tech
but-
well.
Yeah.
But it was smart how she beat him. Like it
It
made
worked,
sense
yeah.
to me. There were some parts where I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
But,
it's one of those things where it's not like a plot hole because it makes
But
sense why.
Also, the Predator
why it
was
worked.
arrogant
yeah,
and didn't see her as a threat. That was like kind of the whole
Yeah,
point of it.
it's-
She's the
it's-
prey,
yeah.
but then that becomes reversed.
Well, and it's like, it makes sense why it worked because
Yeah.
the Predator just was, like you said, he's arrogant, and you might say, oh, that's a plot hole that he didn't realize that, but he's probably just not.
Oh, and there's a
He's probably just not the
And
smartest
what do you think of
Predator
his
we've seen.
design, his face design.
It's not my favorite in the series, but it was fine.
It's not one of the worst. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of middle of the road for me. I still like the classic.
Yeah,
The one scene in 1 and 2. But no, I thought it was pretty good. And he
Yeah.
does look kind of like the Berserkers.
yeah.
the
I
Predators
like.
movie.
I do like the original design more,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's the classic. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what set the
but
standard.
it didn't bother me one bit.
Yeah.
like.
I do, and I've seen people talking about this, but I do think if we could have got, a slower shot of his face, like in the older movies,
Yeah,
because it was pretty quick.
yeah.
But
No, they didn't have like a reveal scene.
No, yeah, it
No.
was really frantic, but I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
also about
Well,
this,
I think that the filmmakers here were like, you guys know what a predator.
yeah,
looks
exactly.
Like, you don't
Um,
need us.
and also they use
reveal scene.
for a lot of this, and they enhanced it with CGI and for certain shots and actions. But a practical suit, a guy in a suit, just like
Yeah.
the old one.
Oh yeah.
It was a real suit and everything, so I thought
Yeah.
that was awesome. And they said, that really helped with the actors. Like, they see the 7.5 foot tall
Makes a
creature.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it right there.
Wasn't it
The
in the
intimidation
first
factor.
Predator movie? He left production before they started filming, but it was supposed.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
And it was a drastically different design.
yeah,
Have you seen the original Predator design?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think they've incorporated in the comics as like that's an armor they wear or something.
Yeah.
But you know how that goes. They incorporate every little thing in the comics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the finale was good, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought it made sense. It just showed like, the Predator lost because of himself, because of
Yeah.
his own
He deserved it.
hubris.
He well, he deserved it even according to Predator standards.
Right, and then
he misidentified who the alpha hunter was.
Yeah.
And so Predator custom would be like, yeah, you fucking deserve that.
oh yeah, which makes me think. So
He is an unworthy Predator.
in the end scenes, still a badass Predator.
Yeah, badass.
Still kills a lot
But
of people.
unworthy.
Yeah, well, because he gets killed. So I mean,
Yeah.
can't do much. When
I
you're
also
dead.
love that she decapitates it and brings the head
Yeah,
back
and she
to her
brings the
tribe.
head back to the tribe.
Like when
she's
it
got
it shows the tribe
green blood,
like with her coming back. I was like, before they showed her, I was like, oh, I hope she brought back the head, like her brother brought back the mountain lion.
it's like
And I
top
was-
that.
Yeah, no, seriously, she's like big fucking flex there. Like, she's like, this is what I killed.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was one of the best Predator movies. I mean, honestly,
It's definitely.
it really helped revitalize the franchise. I'm excited for Predator.
I'm going
movies
back and
again.
forth on whether I like this or the original more.
Yeah, it's so
But
hard.
it's-
I need to see the original again. I haven't seen it since
I watched it yesterday, and it's still really good.
because I watched Predator 2, the one in LA, but it's like a dystopian LA.
It's a weird setting.
It's it's a fun setting for like Predator kills a bunch of gang members and
yeah,
stuff.
it still works.
which is pretty good.
But
Yeah.
it is weird when you think about it.
But it
I
has
think.
some bad stereotypes.
Yeah, it does.
Like
yeah.
there's Jamaican gang members and stuff, and they're all like, the stereotype. I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and then we get the not really end credit scene, but we get a little glimpse into the future of what's gonna happen, because it shows all this tribal artwork, which was actually done by a real Native American artist, I believe, a Comanche
cool.
artist.
Cool.
And and shows tribal artwork recounting the events of the movie with the Predator and everything, and she comes back ahead. But then I don't know if you stayed long enough.
No.
Well, then it shows the other ships show up to her tribe.
Oh.
So the question is, okay, are these the usual like honorable predators? Are they gonna like basically take the dead body back and like reward her like they do in some of the movies?
Yeah.
Or are these like the bad ones?
Yeah. Are they gonna just slaughter the tribe?
Because all we know is that they get the pistol that says Raphael something 1715.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we know. They get that pistol.
Yeah. Somehow.
Which I'm hoping that maybe they see her as a highly, great warrior and everything, and they make a trade with her. Maybe
Yeah.
they take the pistol, they give her a cool predator gun.
I feel like it'd be disappointing if it was just like the ending was.
Or they were really petty.
Yeah.
They just slaughtered them,
Yeah.
which they could. I mean, but that would be interesting because in Alien versus Predator, like I talked about before, they give the lady the spear and the big chief, like, it's like, yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Respect.
He's like, yeah.
And they carry his dead body off.
The good predators are pretty chill.
Yeah, and they do that in Predator 2 with Danny Glover. Like, he ends up on the ship because it's under L.A. the whole time.
Yeah.
And
that's why L.A. doesn't have a transit
and he
system.
defeats the Predator on the ship, and then they all come out of their invisibility. They all look at him, and then they give him the pistol.
They're like, "Good job, bro."
Yeah, he
It's
says,
why
"Take it."
It's why L.A. has doesn't have a subway system.
I just want to know, why do they have the pistol?
Mm-hmm.
Now, before this movie came out, there was a comic that actually explained this.
Mm-hmm.
That the pistol in the comic, and this is what I want to see them do, the pistol came from a pirate.
Oh,
And the Predator, this pirate captain was mutinied by his crew.
yeah.
And the Predator's in the midst, because it's a Predator thing. But the Predator and the captain actually team up against the other pirates.
But Predator's like, that was
And the
not...
Predator has like a badass like Predator like swashbuckler sword.
That's cool.
Like
the Predator was like, that was not very honorable.
yeah,
of your
basically,
crew.
yeah. And then he the captain ends up dying in battle, and the Predator survives, but he gives him the pistol, and the Predator gives him his sword.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how it is in the comics, but it's different now. But all that being said,
It just comes from a French guy.
I want to see a Predator versus Pirates movie.
I do, yeah.
Just in the open ocean on a ship, like that would be sick. Like, or maybe you could take it to an island and have some shenanigans there.
Yeah, well,
But this really opens.
you could have a traditional
this
Predator
opens
movie
the door.
on like a deserted island.
Yeah, and this really opens the door to do Predator movies in historical settings.
I think that would be
There's
cool.
so much they could
Yeah.
do. There was this fan-made film. I forget exactly what it's called. I think it was like Predator Crusader or Predator Templar.
Technically, nowadays, the original Predator would be considered a historical setting.
Yeah, technically.
It wasn't when it was made.
No, and it's but you know what I mean. But there was this fan-made film where the Predator shows up during the Crusades.
Ooh.
And it was actually well done. And the Predator like has a one-on-one fight with a knight.
That would be cool.
With his long sword. The Predator's got his wrist blades or whatever. And the Muslim guy and the Templar actually team up to stop the Predator, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
It's a cool fan-made film, actually.
Yeah,
And,
I think.
but that just really, I'm like, oh man, there's so much they could do. And, I would be totally cool if a direct sequel because they've never done that before. And I could
Yeah.
see that. But at the same time, really, they should just leave it here.
I think it would be best if they left it.
Because
as much as I would
There's
like
two
a
ways.
sequel,
There's two ways it could go. She just ends up dying in the next one, and this just defeats, her victory in the first movie.
yeah,
Or they take it too far, and it's like, okay, like,
yeah.
there's only so many predators you can be. You know
She
what I mean?
she kills a spaceship full of predators.
Yeah, like, come on. But overall, I thought it was the best Predator movie since the original.
Oh, absolutely, easily that.
Easily.
I'm still on the fence on whether I like this or the. I almost want to say this is my favorite one, but
Yeah,
I'm
it will.
reluctant.
Well, will it stand the test of time? With the
Yeah.
original,
That's
because
kind of why I'm on the fence about it, because I'm like, give me a year, where I can watch it a couple more times and then I can decide on where it stands.
Yeah,
versus
and,
the original
and if you got the same kind of writing team and Dan Trachtenberg, he was the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is the best Cloverfield movie.
I haven't seen any of those movies.
It's really good. It's what's her name from Scott Pilgrim? John Goodman's in it. He's the villain.
Right. Yes.
And then
I do remember the commercials seeing John Goodman.
and he's really good. I mean, it's John Goodman.
I love John Goodman.
But they're like in a bunker, and they think there's an alien invasion. I won't reveal anything about it because it's a really good movie. But yeah, I mean, he did a really good job with this one, and yeah, it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and John Goodman,
yeah.
and it's actually quite underrated movie. But
Never seen any of the Cloverfield related movies.
I don't care about. I saw the first one.
Mhm.
I don't think it's that good of a movie.
Yeah,
It's a found footage trope with giant monster.
I've never really liked.
I don't really
found footage
I don't
movies.
really like many found footage movies, if any of them.
Most of them.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they either get too hokey or like I don't.
I think found footage can work as like a few scenes in a movie.
Yeah,
But an
it's the
entire
whole
movie
thing
being found
gets
footage
old.
it gets old by
I want
half
good
an hour into the
cinematography.
movie.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But but yeah, yeah. I mean, Prey was really good. Like I said, let's see if it stands the test of time. Like the original, can it be one upped? I don't know. That'd be pretty tough. But yeah, it was a really good Predator movie. It went back to basics. Grounded, cool setting, respectful to the Comanche people. Yeah, it's just a really good movie. I mean, aside from being a Predator movie, honestly. And what I also appreciate about it, there's not much dialogue.
No, yeah.
It
doesn't-
focuses on, action.
and it does. Well, it tells
Well,
a
not
story.
just action in the fight scenes, but it tells the story through.
It's a show don't tell type of movie.
yeah, show don't tell. Exactly.
It does that very well.
Now, there's people complaining, but what about the lore? There's not enough lore in this. It's like
I don't give a fuck about Predator lore.
I mean, I would like to
Like-
see some Predator lore, but I
like lore. I'm one of those guys who watches lore videos on YouTube.
but the
for fun.
first Predator movie, what made it work so well is you knew nothing about this
Yeah,
thing, and
it's- of
and
course, I like lore, but ultimately, when it's a movie
that,
franchise,
that can ruin the suspense.
I want a good movie first and foremost.
yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
if there's lore in it. It's like
But if they can get to the Predator 2 movie,
they've been expanding the Jurassic Park universe a lot, and I remember
Yeah.
when the newest one, which I have not seen, when it was before it came out, you asked me if I was excited for it because that Jurassic Park is like top 10 one of my favorite movies of all
Yeah.
time, and I said no. I don't give a shit about it. And you were like, why? And I'm like, let me get this straight.
you like Jurassic
I like
Park.
Jurassic Park, the movie. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about the lore and the universe or anything like that. It's just a good
The lore, oh.
movie.
Jurassic World Dominion. I saw it in theaters.
I've heard it's bad.
I wouldn't say it's bad. A bad movie.
I also didn't see the Jurassic World before that.
Here's what I'll say. It's bad when you connect it to any of the Jurassic Park movies. It's fine standalone.
Yeah. I didn't see the second Jurassic World movie. I only saw the first one.
Basically, it brings back all the old characters for no reason. Actually, bring them back. It has a really bad
Yeah.
subplot. Not enough dinosaurs, actually, and there's some cool dinosaur scenes, but just repeats the same exact tropes. There's no stakes. It's not good.
I still just I like what Mr. Sunday Movies said, where they said that all the Jurassic Park movies are of roughly the same quality.
No, yeah,
Except for the first one. I will argue the first one is a fantastic
Yeah.
movie. The rest of them, I don't give a shit
I think
about.
the Jurassic
I don't
World
think
movies are all roughly the same.
I don't
quality.
think any of the Jurassic Park movies I've seen are bad. I just don't give a shit about any of them other than the first one.
Yeah,
Like, it's just the first one's just a good movie. Predator is the same type of franchise where I'm just like, lore is cool, but ultimately, I don't really give a shit about lore in a franchise like this. I just want a good movie.
I want a good movie, but I do like the Yacha lore. It's pretty cool with the clans and
Lore
stuff.
is cool. Of course, I
Um,
like lore, but
And that's why I think it would be really cool and brave and interesting to have a Predator movie where the Predator wins. Maybe have the Predator just fight a shitty guy you don't want to root for anyways. I mean, you could do that.
yeah, do a movie where
But,
you're rooting for the predator.
Yeah.
Like,
Which Alien versus Predator, you root for the Predator in that
Yeah,
one.
but-
So,
but they had to do that by pitting the predator against xenomorphs,
yeah, which are
which it's pretty hard
Just
to root.
mindless.
It's pretty hard to root for a xenomorph.
I root for the Xenomorph when I play as it in Mortal Kombat. That's when I root for the
It
Xenomorph.
doesn't count.
Okay, I root for it when it kills. No, I like him.
See, it's hard to find a time where you.
I
are-
root for it in Alien Prometheus or whatever, Alien Covenant, because that's
Oh.
ultimately kind of bad movie, but there is a xenomorph in it finally, or a protomorph or whatever they
Is
call
this,
it.
is this the one with Michael Fassbender?
Yeah, he's
he's
the droid again.
He's a shit.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
helps create the xenomorphs or whatever,
Yeah,
and the whole engineer lore.
it's weird.
It gets a little weird, and apparently in the comic, this isn't canon by the way, but in the comics there was an idea that the engineers made the Predators as well, but it's stupid. So
I really
I'm glad
think
that's not
that
canon, right?
Alien is one of those franchises where it would have probably been better off if we only got the first 2 movies. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Even though I really like Alien versus Predator.
yeah,
The first,
yeah.
I haven't seen Requiem.
I haven't either.
I've seen
I've
the
heard
kill
it's a
count
very
on it.
different type of movie.
Well, yeah, it's like in suburbia and everything.
Yeah, and it has the alien predator.
And it's in like modern. Well, it's like in 2006 or whenever it came out.
It takes place right after
Pred
first
Alien.
one.
Yeah, and the first one's in. Well, it was set in modern.
Yeah,
And
but
the first one does a lot of cool stuff for the Predator lore. That's where they establish, you got to kill Xenomorph to become
yeah.
a part of the clan.
And
or
the second
whatever.
one's like the xenomorph laid an egg in one of the predators.
Yeah, and the Pred Alien.
and the predators were stupid. Like, why don't you when they take away the body, you don't scan that shit, make sure
Yeah,
it's
the-
cool. And the whole thing
And he just
revolves
lit this
around
monster.
this predator who's like the cleanup guy.
I do like that. I like that
Like-
there's a cleanup guy.
He's the predator who goes around who fixes fucked up
He's
situations.
the fixer. He's
Cleans up after other predators' messes.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't seen it. That's just what I know about.
Well,
it.
anyways, here's Rotten Tomatoes list of all the Predator movies ranked by Tomato Meter,
Okay.
and let's see if we agree with them or not, and we can talk about them a little bit. So yeah, we have Prey, which is the highest rated one at 92%. And yeah, we just talked about it. So, and then we have Predator, the original, 87, ranked at 80%.
Mhm.
Does it deserve to be an 80%?
I think it should be a little bit higher.
I think it could be higher. Here's the thing about Predator, what it does so well. It starts out as just a campy action movie.
yeah.
Not
Oh,
a,
yeah.
not even a really good one at that.
No, it's
They're just slaughtering
it's
these
like-
Cuban, or no, not Cubans. Where are they? Somewhere in South America.
Central or South America. I don't recall.
and they go in. They're like,
It's just an 80s B movie.
80s B movie.
Yeah.
And then, but you slowly realize they're being hunted and everything.
I understand
Get
why
killed one by
Prey
one.
is higher on Rotten Tomatoes, because Rotten Tomatoes, to older movies that aren't considered the classics, Rotten Tomatoes is not very kind.
It isn't. No.
So I totally get why Prey is higher on it. It's the new movie.
yeah.
Predator is a great movie, but it's not considered like one of the classics. You know? I mean, it's a classic in
It's
like
a classic
the
for in
sci-fi-
that genre.
in that genre, but it's
but
not,
overall, yeah.
it's not The Godfather. It's
No.
not Pulp Fiction. It's not one of those must-see movies that people talk about.
But in my opinion, it is.
I do think it's a must-see movie. I think you got to see it.
But yeah, I mean, the original Predator.
When Prey
That
came
was
out,
absolutely the first Predator
when
movie
Prey
I saw.
came out,
so.
I called my sister on the phone and I called my mom on the phone. Neither one of them have ever seen any Predator movie.
Oh, wow.
Because I was like, I was excited. I was like, you guys got to watch this movie, and they're like, yeah, we haven't seen any.
My mom's seen
Those-
the original Predator probably too many times to count because of my dad. That's maybe the Predator and like one of the Rockies are his most watched movies.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Right.
And yeah, so I've seen the original Predator a lot.
It's a good movie.
And it's entertaining every time.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
always
And,
love it. I think it's one of Arnie's best roles.
no, honestly,
He's very charismatic in it.
no, and
Like,
yeah, and I was kind of getting an argument with my mom. She was like, "Yeah, Prey's the best one by far and everything. She's way better than Arnie." And I'm like, "Whoa,
Whoa.
settle down, settle
Whoa.
down."
that
Whoa.
dude, Arnie was my governor growing up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he was the governor. No, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Honestly, while I prefer Stallone, at least in the '80s era of the action movies, I thought Rambo, was just really good. Really
Yeah.
well done. But Schwarzenegger does have acting chops in there.
He's good. I've
Just a
always
lot of
liked him.
times he doesn't get to actually, show that.
Yeah.
But like Terminator Dark Fate, which is the third movie of it's the third sequel to T2, the third attempt or fourth attempt.
Attempt at a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Third,
And-
because one of the Predator
He was
or
good in Dark Fate.
one of the Terminator movies after that was not a sequel. It was a prequel. Terminator
Salvation was a sequel.
Was it a sequel?
Yeah. Well,
No,
yeah,
no,
it
it
was
was-
set in the future.
But it's a prequel to the plot of the first one.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a it's a prequel to the plot of the first one. It's
It
set in
takes-
it's set in the
It's
apocalypse.
set in the future, but it takes place before John Connor
it's in that-
sends back what's his name.
Chronologically in the Terminator timeline, it's a sequel,
But
but
plot-wise-
movie-wise, it's a prequel.
Yeah.
It's a pre-sequel.
it's very
perhaps.
confusing.
And I actually think that movie gets some flack. But that's a different
It's not bad.
discussion.
Yeah, it's,
But yeah, do I put Prey better than Predator? I don't know, man.
again, I'm on the
It's-
fence about it.
There's so much I like about the original, and it's just, and also it has the benefit of the first time doing it, and
Yeah.
and sometimes the first time
I'm going to
is-
have to basically wait for the hype of Prey to die
yeah,
down
you got to let the hype die down
before
to
I
really
can make
digest it.
make a little bit more of a.
But I can say they are on equal footing. Like they're
at the very
close.
least, yeah, they're pretty damn.
Like I said
close.
earlier, Prey's the best Predator movie since the first.
Oh,
like
easy.
I easily
That's
can say
easily,
that.
yeah.
There's people arguing about Predator 2, and I'm like, I just watched it. It's got good bits,
Yeah.
but a lot of it is a really bad movie. I had to struggle to get through the dialogue, the stereotypes. Very 90s.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
But
yeah.
Danny Glover, I love Danny Glover.
I do love Danny Glover's great.
Yeah. And then the next one, and this is a slept-on one in my opinion, and I need to watch it again. But Predators, starring Adrian Brody,
I love Adrian Brody. I have not seen Predators.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, Jesus.
Yeah, he's in it, and also
Good old Eddie Brock.
Lawrence Fishburne has a brief
Oh,
appearance
I
in it,
like Lawrence Fishburne.
so that's a highlight. And this one switches up the formula. Have you seen it? Any of it?
I don't think I've
Do you
seen
know
this.
anything about it?
No, I don't think I've seen this one.
Well, all I'll say, I don't want to spoil it for you.
I think
Because
this, I think this
it's
came
a movie
out.
you should watch. Like,
I think this came out during a time where I was aware of the Predator franchise, but just did not give any shit about it. And I probably saw a trailer and went, I don't.
I never
care.
saw it in theaters. I saw it on rental. On
Yeah,
DVD.
I probably saw a
and I
trailer
was also
for
like
it.
10 years old.
and-
So,
Yeah, I would have been what?
or I was like 13. Or
Yeah, I would have been
12.
13
I don't
or
know, it all
14 or
blurs
something like
together.
that. I would have been aware of the Alien or of the Predator franchise because, like, I remember when Alien vs Predator came out,
Yeah.
and I was excited for it. I was like, that looks cool. But when this came out, I was kind of like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, it's actually pretty good. I need to see it again, though. It's been a long time. It's been
Mhm.
literally a decade. So I might have seen it one time after
yeah,
my first viewing, but it's been a long time. But I saw it as a kid, but as a grown up, as an adult that's seen a lot of movies, I would like to see it again and assess it again. because from what I remember of it, it did have a lot of cool, interesting things. It introduced a lot of new things to the lore. New Predator subtype. There's Predator dogs in it.
Oh,
They have dogs, and maybe they were inspired by Naru.
Do they have?
Maybe that's how it connects. They see her doggo, so they're like, "Oh, we're gonna
They're
get
like,
a doggo."
we want some good boys. Too.
Yeah, but they're like Predator versions.
But they're still good boys.
Yeah, they're still good boys,
Okay, good.
but they'll just eat you alive and everything. But
That's what they've been trying.
but and
do,
this
so
one's
they're
called
good boys.
Predators, implying that there's multiple predators, and there
Yeah.
is. I don't think that's much of a
Did
spoiler.
did the guy who directed this go and do the same thing that James Cameron did with Aliens, where the story is that James Cameron walked into the board meeting at the production company and wrote Alien on the board,
And just
and then added an
that's pretty
S,
much what it is.
and then put a $sign on the S.
That's very much what this movie is. However, it does. Some
That's I don't know
like,
if that's true. That's just what
uh,
I've heard.
I won't spoil the big spoiler of the movie, but like all the human characters are some kind of convict.
or
something.
Yeah.
Like you have a serial killer, and so the predators are going after these guys. So you really don't feel bad when they get killed.
Yeah.
And but Adrian Brody, he's like a British MI6 guy or something.
Mhm.
Which James Bond Predator? Let's make that happen.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Or a Predator starring as James Bond.
I like that idea more. Yeah.
And that's the only different thing. It's just a Predator and the suit with the what's the pistol, the
The Walther PP9 or whatever.
PP9,
whatever the fuck it's called. I don't
and
remember.
the Aston Martin,
yeah.
Babes, the beach.
He's at the poker table, and
Yeah.
the waiter comes up and
he's
goes,
just like,
and the waiter
makes this Predator noise.
yeah, and the waiter comes up and goes, "What would you like to drink, sir?" and the predator goes,
Yeah. That would be pretty good. But honestly,
and the waiter goes, "Would you like that shaken or stirred?" And the predator goes,
yeah, or he laughs or but yeah,
That's my
Predators.
shitty predator noises.
Predators has become like a fan favorite because it was the best Predator sequel since the original until this one came out, in my opinion. It's
Nice.
an interesting premise. It switches the formula, and it introduces new stuff to Predator lore. And I think this maybe might connect to Predators because this Predator looks a lot more like these ones in Predators
Yeah.
than he does in the original one. The original one's a different clan because the ones in Predators are a completely different clan.
Yeah.
In fact, they're like a exiled clan. That's
Yeah.
one spoiler, but that's all I'm gonna say. But I think it's a slept on movie. And then, okay, and this is where I'm like, what? And this is directed by Shane Black, the Predator, and Shane Black starred in the original Predator, by the way.
Who was he?
He was one of the side characters,
Oh.
but they show him in the credits.
Oh, cool.
It's like Shane Black starring as this guy.
Oh, so he was the guy with the glasses.
But Keegan-Michael Key's in the Predator, by the way.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that. Yeah.
But the Predator, what I know about the plot, like the Predator wants the DNA of an autistic kid or something.
I got it right. It is the guy with the glasses.
Yeah, they got the glasses, yeah. So you would think if he was in the original one, he could make a good Predator movie, but nah.
No, apparently not.
But I can't definitively say that because I've never seen it. Maybe if I
Yeah,
see it, I'm like, actually, this is underrated.
They changed the Predator lore
But the
to be
lore
like-
is what I don't like.
so the
about
two
it.
things that they changed is they say that the original Predator from the original movie was like coming to Earth to like bring us like a gift. Or it was like to bring us.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that in the first movie.
No, the original Predator we've talked about this is an asshole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does self-destruct and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and yeah.
So the original Predator is supposed to be like a good guy, kind of, and then they also do the thing where they say the Predators take out the spine and all that to take the genes.
Fuck that. That's what pisses off
To,
all the
like,
Predator fans, and
Enhance.
that's what
themselves and
pisses me
shit?
off because I care more about the lore than you do, but that's such an integral part of the Predator lore.
No, yeah,
they hunt for sport. They hunt for fun.
That's the thing.
They don't do it for any other reason.
What makes them scary?
Yeah,
because they're hunting for the thrill.
Yeah.
It's
they
it's
pull
like
your
well, it's like the original
head
Predator
out.
movie. Like the spiritual kind of origins of that whole idea is like the most dangerous game.
Yeah.
The what is the most dangerous game to hunt is to hunt humans.
Yeah, Arnold
You know?
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. So that's the
Guys with miniguns. Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But yeah, the
with his
Predator,
guns.
introduces the Super Predator, which is a genetically modified predator,
Yeah.
which is like considered to be like you're a heretic if you do that in the Predator society.
Yeah.
Like that's not right. Like they don't like that actually. But and it also introduces the Predator like robot,
Oh yeah.
which the humans make out of Predator technology.
Yeah.
And it's
It's just weird. That is the culmination in all the Predator movies, or at least most of them, have like some unnecessary science fiction bullshit that just takes away from the
only science fiction part needs
concept.
to be the Predator.
Yeah.
like you said.
And this movie is the culmination of all that bullshit, where it's like
it's just a lot of bullshit.
it's really going hard on that bullshit science fiction, like it feels.
And
They're
then
treating it like it's a Godzilla movie.
then we have Predator 2. Well, not even. They're treating it like it's a Godzilla movie from the Mecha Godzilla, which we got to watch
Yeah.
another one.
The-
We watched
it's-
one of those.
They're treating it like Mecha Godzilla, but without Godzilla.
Yeah,
without
and
the cool kaiju fights.
without any of the cool stuff you care about.
Yeah,
But I haven't seen it. I need to see it.
because we all know that Godzilla movies, we only put up with the plot for the kaiju fights.
Yeah. But everything I heard about the Predator, I do not like.
Yeah.
The whole plot, the changes to the lore, and the fact that they have to. Oh, here's your regular Predator. He's not big enough. Let's get one that's twice his size, and it's just like
Yeah.
so in your face. It's so like, oh, you want this?
Maybe-
You want more Predator? Here's a
May-
bigger one.
I don't know.
It's like, I
we
don't
haven't seen it. Maybe we'll have to do a commentary on it.
Or a review, maybe
Or a
not a
review.
commentary. But then we have Predator 2, which according to Rotten Tomatoes is ranked worse than the Predator, and there's no way. I just watched it. It's such a fun movie, man.
Whoops.
It's such a fun movie. Yeah, it's cheesy. It's campy. It's got really cringeworthy dialogue. However, the setting is so fun. The Predator killing a bunch of gang members and fighting cops in L.A.
Oh yeah.
And it's got really good action scenes. It's got some brutal scenes. There's a scene where the police show up to a crime scene after the Predator fought a bunch of gang members, and they're all hanging, skinned, and everything.
Yeah.
And you have Danny Glover fighting the Predator, and it expands on the lore, but in a very fitting way. Like it expands on the lore without exposition, which is actually something that surprised me because it's been so long since I've watched it. They don't explain any of it. Danny Glover just ends up on the ship, fights Predator, let everyone show up, and they just give him the pistol, and he's like 17, 15, and it's like, there you go. Like
that is something that
it still has that weirdness,
a
the
lot
mystery
of
to
kind
it.
of action, a lot of movie franchise that involve any type of lore. Just they feel like they have to explain everything to you.
Show don't tell.
Show don't tell.
That's what Prey
again,
does so well.
It's all show don't tell.
And in a way, it does expand on lore some because you see a new Predator type and everything.
You see a new Predator. It's a new event in the Predator.
And I like when things
timeline.
are with the Predator or any kind of horror kind of element movie. I like where it's left to your imagination.
Well, I think
You
that's like
If everything's explained,
the final point I want to make about Prey is that it does this thing that I don't think any of the movies, at least that I've seen since the original, does, where it treats the Predator like a monster.
yeah.
It doesn't treat it like a sci-fi alien like species. It's a monster movie.
Yeah. No, I like that.
With sci-fi stuff. But because the original Predator is, even though it's an alien,
And
even
then
though
you can
it's
imagine
sci-fi,
things about their society and
Yeah,
stuff like
even
that.
though the original Predator movie, even though it is an alien, it is sci-fi. It has these cheesy B movie action scenes in it.
it's a monster movie.
It still is a monster movie.
or it ends up being a monster movie
Yeah,
at least.
and that's the
Starts out campy action movie, then goes sci-fi, then goes monster, goes survival at the end.
yeah.
And so then we have Alien versus Predator, which is ranked at 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. And yes, it's extremely cheesy. I don't think it's any worse than Predator 2.
Yeah,
Also, Gary Busey's in Predator 2. And Bill
Right.
Paxton
I do love
from
Gary,
Aliens.
I do love Gary Busey.
So that means Bill Paxton must have an ancestor that was in
yeah,
Los Angeles in the 90s, if it's in the same universe, which it is sometimes.
sometimes depends.
And also what I really love about it, it has the whole trope. So the movie was made in 1990, but it takes place in 1997, dystopian future,
I love movies that do that shit.
the near future of
Like
Los
how,
Angeles.
like how Blade Runner.
and it
takes,
starts out with a shootout, and like the cartel guys have Uzis. And
Yeah, well, it's like how Blade Runner takes place in 2020.
yeah.
I think it's 2020.
Which that was a little bit more reasonable because that came out in the 80s, so that was 40 years, in the future at that point.
It was still imagining 40 years Los Angeles goes from 70s Los Angeles to that.
Well,
That's a big leap.
and what's funny, it felt like a little bit of political commentary in Predator 2 because the LA riots haven't happened yet, but it imagines a Los Angeles that's just, there's shootouts happening all the time. Just violence. And, it's just like hyper.
Los Angeles during that time was known
Was.
for being violent.
Yeah.
It's really not anymore, but it was then.
Yeah, definitely. But, Alien
And
versus
obviously,
Predator.
and obviously the riots in 92, 93, I don't remember.
Alien versus Predator, it gets expositional with the lore.
Yeah.
But it does have interesting lore. Like the Predators would have these alien xenomorph breeding grounds,
Mhm.
and they would basically lord over the humans at these like Mayan-esque temples.
Yeah.
And as part of the ritual to breed the xenomorphs and then hunt them
Because we all know the only reasons that Mayans were ever able to build anything cool is because of
because the Predators.
because of aliens.
But and it does that kind of thing. But it's a cool
I'm
setting
just,
though. It's in Antarctica. Seeing a predator in like a cold, dark setting like that's pretty cool.
What I do like is that
and also it's got good fights. It's got the practical.
I like that you have a
suits.
predator team up with a human.
Yeah, the predator team up the girl, and they fight the xenomorphs and these predators. I don't know if they exactly say in the movie, but it's confirmed like in the novel or whatever, or in like a graphic novel, that they're the unblooded predators.
Yeah.
They're coming to Earth to hunt xenomorphs.
Yeah. It's like the rite of passage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you kill one, then you get the plasma caster and everything, and
Yeah. And then they just throw the alien queen into the ocean.
and then the one that does kill his first xenomorph, he goes and grabs the plasma caster because they just have him in the ancient temple. And it also establishes that predators can live thousands of years.
Oh yeah.
Which I can give or take. I mean, I don't really care,
Yeah.
But it does have good action, and the alien queen, like animatronic, is awesome.
It is pretty good.
It had
yeah.
4 times the amount of parts as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
I think I've heard something.
Like it was one of the most advanced animatronics made, maybe ever made at this point, because they don't use them anymore.
I appreciate a good animatronic in a movie.
And it's really cool. The alien, and that's the biggest alien queen we've seen.
Yeah.
And and Predators vs. Aliens. I mean, it's a perfect concept, right? I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't have to be a good movie.
No.
Does that make sense? Like,
No, yeah, it can still be fun.
yeah, it's still a lot of fun.
I love Freddy versus Jason, but I will never say it's a good movie.
But it doesn't need to be.
No, yeah.
You want Freddy versus Jason. You don't care about the side characters, and we did a commentary on that. by
Yeah,
the way.
go listen to it.
And maybe we should do it for this Spooktober, Alien versus Predator.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that'd be pretty
a
perfect.
versus movie.
A versus, to keep the tradition going. And then we have Aliens versus and that one's where you see the elder and everything. He gives her the spear and all that stuff. So it expands on the lore a little bit. And honestly, I gotta watch it again because it's just fun. It's just one of those
It's cool, yeah.
fun, get drunk, movies.
It
You
has
know?
the guy from Trainspotting in it.
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't remember his name. He plays Spud in Trainspotting.
Yeah. I watched the video about it, and they were talking about that. And then you have Aliens versus Predator Requiem, which I actually slept on. I haven't seen it.
That's all. I also haven't.
I've
seen
seen the kill count on it. And what's funny, it takes place in Gunnison, Colorado.
that.
Yeah, just read that. And what I do find interesting about it, it has the aliens and predators fighting in just a contemporary setting.
Yeah.
Not in the future, not in a weird temple in Antarctica, just in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Which that's both refreshing and just really weird.
I want to watch it.
It's weirder for me. Here's what weirds me out. The Predator, I feel like, can be in any time period, right?
Yeah.
But the Xenomorphs, I feel like they really only fit
They only fit in a sci-fi.
in that setting that Ridley Scott made, you know?
Yeah.
It just seems really weird to see a Xenomorph running around in a neighborhood.
It does, yeah.
And yeah, this is the one with the Pred alien in it. And this one, from what I've heard, like none of the characters are like good or important or you care about them. They all just get killed. It's a slaughter fest. But they hid a lot of the CGI by filming it in dark.
Yeah.
I heard that's a big like it's really dark.
Yeah,
Like,
I want
it's hard
to
to
see
see
it. I want to
things.
see it. I've heard it's a very different vibe than the first.
But
movie.
it's the worst rated. So Alien versus Predator was at 22%. It came out in 2004. And that Ridley Scott it just ignores it. James Cameron actually admitted that it's cool, but it's not canon.
yeah.
But then Aliens versus and I love that it's Aliens versus Predator because there's only one Predator that shows up, the cleanup guy, like you said.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, and that it's like, oh, this is a badass Predator. Because I think it should be Aliens versus Predator.
Yeah.
But a couple of them get killed in the other movie anyway, so it ends up being one Predator at the end.
True. Yeah.
But this one's ranked at 12%. And yeah, I heard just the editing is just really throws it off, and just the light, like I said, the lighting. But I really enjoy Alien versus Predator. But yeah, I heard Requiem's just weird, just really off compared to the.
I want to watch it. I'm afraid that it'll be one of those movies that I just can't get through, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
And it's cool that they still use practical suits, and they even brought it back from Prey. But I heard, like, with the Pred Alien versus Predator, it's a lot of just, guys in rubber suits smashing against each other.
Is that a bad thing, though?
I mean...
That's what all the classic Godzilla movies are.
No, exactly. But, I heard they didn't go as hard as on, like, the production of it as they did with Alien. Like, Alien vs. Predator actually did a really good job of the production of it.
Yeah.
It's just the writing and dialogue that really drags it down. But, like, as far as the production, like I said, I mean, it had, like, one of the best animatronics at the time and everything, the Alien Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen it a couple years ago, and it still holds up as far as, like, the effects go.
Yeah.
Because, I don't like purely judging a movie off its effects. I believe that's very, just vain to do. Like,
yeah.
But
there is such thing as distracting effects.
Yeah, and even if the movie's poorly written, if it has good effects, that definitely helps. That
It helps, yeah.
So at least the action's good. But yeah, so maybe we'll do a tier list at some point when we watch all these again. But yeah, I just feel like it would be wrong to do so. But as far as Prey goes, it was great.
It's a solid A+.
Yeah, solid A+, definitely.
Fantastic movie.
I can't wait to watch the Comanche version.
I'm going to do
Comanche
that
dub.
too, yeah.
And and something else I wanted to say is that with all the French speaking parts, it just says speaking in French in the subtitles. Or the subtitles are in French. So unless you understand French, you don't know what we're saying.
Yeah, I didn't watch it with subtitles on.
So it's from Naru's perspective, which I think is pretty cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you go. There's our Prey review and discussion over the Predator movies. And time will tell if it's better than the original, but
yeah. I'm kind of all hyped up right now.
I am
about
hyped
it
up.
still.
I got to watch the original again, you know. Oh, also, I forgot to say this. and this is my fun little tidbit for the episode, and then we'll be out of here. I installed a Predator mod for Skyrim.
Oh,
And it's
cool.
actually a really good one. It's called Predator Lost Tribes.
Okay.
And what it does, you get 3 different Yacha types as a race to play as in Skyrim.
So
And they
you
have all
play
their
as a
abilities.
predator,
You
yeah.
play as one if you want. And there's scattered like Predator crash sites where you find their technology, you find their weapons. And there's like Yacha tribes in Skyrim that have set up camp with
Nice.
xenomorphs and the predator dogs running around
Yeah.
and the Yacha, and they're like huge, almost as big as a giant.
Oh shit.
They're
Yeah.
pretty big. And when you play a Yacha race, you're like 7'2". You have to get a mod for the first person camera to adjust
Yeah. Yeah.
to the different races' heights, because there's other race mods where they have different heights and stuff, and you gotta
Yeah. There's some mods out there that change. So
you
Skyrim
can be
did
like
a thing.
a halfling, you know.
Skyrim did a thing compared to like Oblivion and Morrowind, where in Skyrim the different playable races are mostly the same height.
The camera's at the same height.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the mod, and now I'm like looking down at everybody, and I'm going through a playthrough as a predator in Skyrim, and I'm playing as a predator would be. And it's funny, it gives you the different races, it gives you the berserker ones and the bad blood predators, which are not honorable. They'll use whatever weapons, they'll just kill you.
Yeah.
They won't play fair. But I'm playing as the classic predator, where I will use the equivalent weapon as my opponent.
Nice.
So if there's, just bandits with swords, I'll just use my wrist blades.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of armors and stuff in this mod and weapons. It's really impressive, actually.
Nice.
And you get this invisibility, and depending on your mask, you get a different level of it. So the basic ones, you'll get like a stealth boost, but people still see you if you move around. But the high level ones, you're completely invisible, and they will not see you if you're sneaking.
Damn, that's cool.
And there's some of them where you can use it if you're running or using weapons even, so they can get pretty OP. And you get the
Nice.
thermal vision, different predator abilities, like fast running, high jumping, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fun time, honestly, going through as a predator. And I'm just going around to bandit camps.
That's awesome.
right now, and like dungeons and just
Just having fun with it.
and like I see a guy using a sword, I'm like, okay, I'll use my wrist blades against him. But if there's a mage, plasma caster. And the plasma casters, they use magicka, and they explain it in the mod's own like lore. The predators, the Yacha, have modified their plasma casters where they can be fueled by soul gems.
I
So,
appreciate when mods
it's
go out of their
obviously
way
not lore
to,
friendly,
to
but
try to make
it fit in.
fit. There's a
And-
really good mod I've played with. It's the Infinity Gauntlet mod on Skyrim.
Yeah, I've got that one.
And they try to make all the Infinity Gems fit into Skyrim lore somehow.
Yeah, they fit it in different quests and
Well,
stuff.
they're in quests, but like what the gems actually are, for example.
Oh, yeah.
They try to explain it because to start the quest to even be allowed to find them, you have to get the journal.
Yeah,
that
at the labyrinth.
yeah, you have to get a journal from like they were hunting it,
Yeah.
the stones and stuff. And in the journal, it has like the lore for all of them, and they tried their best to fit the gems into Elder Scrolls lore.
Yeah, that's
which,
pretty fun.
Of course, it's a stretch, but
But it's fun.
I
you know?
appreciated the effort. I
But yeah, the
enjoyed it.
Predator one's pretty good. But yeah, the Yacha cams, you got to be really high level to fight them.
Wow, yeah.
Because you have a bunch of them running at you. Have xenomorphs running at you.
Yeah.
And but apparently the mod said that there's a friendly Yacha clan that's holding up camp in the north of Markarth, I think.
Okay.
They've taken over like a Forsworn camp or something. I think that's what
Oh,
they
yeah.
explain it, which that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm playing as a predator, and as a predator
Hell yeah.
would fight and play as, and it's fun.
That's awesome.
It's the first like real lore breaking one, because like the Infinity Gauntlet one, you can install it and just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
You'll find one, you'll be like, oh, that's cool, but it's not like in your face.
Yeah.
This Predator one's like, oh, there's a xenomorph. Oh, and I'm also a predator, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
So-
I love mods
what's
like
really cool
I
is,
love
like,
mods like that. I
It
hate-
incorporates Skyrim armor, so like you can have a Dragonbone Predator mask
Oh, that's sick.
and stuff. And I've also got a mask where you can collect the skulls of every race.
Yeah.
So when I kill
I
somebody, I'll
love mods like
grab their
that. What
skull.
I hate is when I forget I have a mod like that installed on a new playthrough. Because then so
You're just casually
you're
going through.
a new playthrough, regular playthrough, and then Xenomorph. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
No, I do want to do a playthrough with just like good improvement mods, like armor expansions, weapon, stuff. But I just want to play it like Skyrim, without cheats, without.
Nowadays, of course, I still play with the crazy mods still sometimes. But
Yeah.
nowadays, because I've been
Vanilla Plus.
I've been modding Skyrim since 2012.
Yeah, and I haven't. Now.
So now I kind of do Vanilla Plus playthroughs. Like,
Yeah.
just take Skyrim and make it the best version of Skyrim.
With
you
some
can make
quest
it.
mods in there.
Some extras.
Like Vigilant, you should definitely get that one.
Yeah, there's some cool extra content mods, but
Bruma,
there's one. It's Undeath,
but not lore breaking stuff.
Yeah, there's one. It's
know.
called Undeath. You can become a necromancer.
Oh,
It's
nice.
cool. No, generally I try to just do it's Skyrim, but the best version of Skyrim I can make it be.
All right, but before we talk about going off for tangent from Predator, Skyrim, and mods, we're gonna end it there.
Yeah.
So we hope you liked the episode, and we will finally. I'm not lying this time. We will finally see you next week for our 100th
100
episode.
Yeah.
100. That's 100 weeks of doing this.
Yeah.
100 episodes and hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
At
We have
least.
more episodes than some TV shows have.
Yeah, suck it. Yeah.
Suck it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. we got more episodes than you, so no.
So who's the better? Who's better? Yeah.
We're cranking them out. You stopped what? Like,
It's Breaking Bad.
yeah, it is Breaking Bad. Oh, Better Call Saul, the new season, the last season. There's one more episode. Oh my god, it's so good.
I've heard it's so good.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think since you've missed it all, the last season and maybe the last couple seasons,
I know Jesse and
I
Walter
think-
come back.
yeah,
I've heard it. Yeah.
they already announced that. They didn't
Yeah.
even hide that. But I think it's so great for you because now you can just binge it.
Oh yeah.
Because once they put season 6 on Netflix,
I'm totally just.
then
gonna
you can
binge
just
the whole thing.
because
Yeah.
they're showing a lot of future stuff. But anyways, we will see you next week,
Yeah.
and keep on, just keep it real for
Keep
us.
on. Predator.
Oh, and by the way, I just got to get this out of the way real quick. I don't want to fail to mention it. Follow us at AwDrunkPod on Instagram.
Yes.
Check out our link tree for all that other stuff, and give us a download. Give us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. Spotify, all you got to do is leave a rating. You don't even have to write a review.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's so easy. So if you've been listening on Spotify, there you go. And do all that stuff, and you'll make us really happy campers over here at the Hot Drink Podcast. And maybe we won't have to drink as much.
Yeah.
But if the less downloads, the less reviews, we're gonna drink even more.
Yeah.
And maybe you want that, but
we'll hold you responsible for what happens.
we'll hold. Yeah, for whatever happens, whatever we decide to do, our 100th episode,
Just-
you're responsible.
just. No, but the 100th episode is going to be cool, so stick around.
it's gonna be cool. Bye.
This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The Odd Drunk Podcast recommends you follow their Instagram and join their Facebook group for more fun content. To visit all of our current streaming and social media platforms, visit the link tree in the description. If you enjoy the show, we would be appreciated it if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The Odd Drunk Podcast would like to remind you to drink responsibly and not to drink and drive. Okay, Colton, you can roll the outro now.